That's what I've learned throughout these 3 years is to remember who you are, Tristan, and whose you are, and that you know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
You're listening to Ticket to the Stars Presents, where you don't have to reach for the stars, we bring the stars to you.
This is Ticket to the Stars Presents, where you don't have to reach for the stars. We bring the stars to you, from rising stars to superstars and stars around and in between, making their mark on the entertainment scene here in the Triangle and beyond. Listen, whether out front or behind the scenes, these stars know how to shine. I'm your host, Gloria. And last week, Ticket to the Stars Presents had the great honor of sitting down with star guest Tristan André Parks. He calls himself both ancient and current.
I am of this world today, and I've been of the world in the past. And so I'm a culmination of both worlds. And they juxtapose each other, and yet they inform each other, being ancient and current.
And while those who have the opportunity to witness his artistry certainly know that he is an artist, he doesn't necessarily like to identify himself as an artist, rather as a human being.
I like to think of myself not as an artist, but as a human being. And by way of being a human being, I am an artist. And so that means, I am evolving in life. And because I'm evolving in life, I'm evolving in my art.
And you have the opportunity to witness this human being or artist perform in Playmaker's production of She Loves Me. It's open right now. I saw it just a couple days ago. It's absolutely, absolutely fantastic. And in this production, he wears many, many hats.
I am acting as the ensemble.
That's important.
Also as dance captain and assistant to the choreographer. So for me...
that's a lead role. You're the dance captain But it's not holding on to all of these various hats that Tristan finds most difficult. Last week when I asked him what has been most challenging as you've gone through these 3 years as an MFA acting student at UNC-Chapel Hill, well, it wasn't holding on to all the hats. It was holding on to something else. So, if there is anything in particular that has been challenging as you've gone through 3 years of this MFA program, is there something that comes to mind?
Holding on to myself.
Yeah,
really holding on to myself, because I think as an artist, when you go through this process of any forms of interdisciplinary training, it's easy to lose oneself, to forget the love that you have for the art, because it becomes so institutionalized. It can feel institutionalized, or you can feel that you're being broken down. But
by the work, or by that abstract, the institution.
By the institution, by those who are in positions of power.
Right.
There's always a power structure there when you're in the role, when there's a role of teacher and student, or dean and student, artistic director and student. So it's always that kind of power structure, and you what line am I walking here?
You're listening to Ticket to the Stars Presents, where you don't have to reach for the stars, we bring the stars to you. Be inspired.
2 things: determination and discipline.
We think about money. We think about what if my body gives out? What if it doesn't? I think we have to give our dreams an honest shot.
And be entertained, tuning into interviews with the stars of the entertainment world here in the Triangle and beyond.
I'm literally in the middle of Times Square right now.
My dad took us to the local carnival. We were so excited because we didn't get to do normal things, On the way out, we're like, Pops, can we get a souvenir? He said, a souvenir, really? I'm telling y'all. He said, then where's your ticket? Frame that.
Find out what's going on and what's up next.
We've got 2 upcoming events that we're excited about. The first will be happening in October in partnership with the Wicked Witch.
Get up close and personal with the stars.
This was a real passion project of mine. This was a project that I wrote, produced, directed, and edited.
Let's hear that again, please.
I was diagnosed back in 2012. The only cure is a bone marrow transplant.
And find out what they stand for.
But I want to be very careful because a lot of theaters say, oh, we're relegating our risky work, new work to a second stage. And I'm very, very adamant that that's not what's happening here.
And we want to make sure that it's understood that we respect a person's right to be who they are.
The rest of us are out here doing it because we love it. In the same way that a dancer has to dance and a writer has to write. A filmmaker has to make films because without it, they will wither and die.
This season on Ticket to the Stars presents Tuesdays at 3 on littleraleigh.radio.org, a Stargaze broadcast. Now back to TTTSP with this week's exciting star guest.
This is part 2 of TTTSP's interview with star guest Tristan André Parks.
So that's what I've learned throughout these 3 years is to remember who you are, Tristan, and whose you are, and that you are right. You know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And
you do because you've been here before.
I definitely feel that in my body. I don't say that in vain. I definitely feel that in my body. I've experienced so much, and I'm grateful, and I'm glad.
And you're glad.
And I'm glad. I am glad.
And you're embarking upon this final stretch of your 3rd year. You all do a showcase in New York, right?
Yeah, we have showcase in New York and Los Angeles, yeah.
When will that happen? In the spring?
In the spring, yeah.
And yet you all are working on it right now, right?
Yeah, we are. We have to. We have to really think about like conducting something that is cohesive and right for us, because we're launching into our professions, and so those will be the first days of the rest of the days of our lives. Amen. So
you got to be ready.
Yeah, we got to be ready, be prepared.
One time you mentioned that you saw yourself 5 years from now really putting your stamp on primetime television. What would that look like? Are there particular shows?
Absolutely. Like I really love, right now I'm watching Big Little Lies, which is a mini series
on Netflix,
on
isn't it?
HBO.
Or is that
and
HBO?
It's starring Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon, and Shailene Woodley, which is an excellent series, and Laura Dern. Just a really strong cast of women, a women ensemble, and Queen Sugar, which is on OWN, which is the series Oprah has produced, and Ava DuVernay is the creator and director of. And I really am inspired by those 2 works right now on television. And as far as my trajectory on television, I hope to be a part of something as profound as those pieces of art on screen, on television screen. Is something that resonates critically, something that resonates with the people. And whether that be on HBO or FX or Netflix, I see myself really being a part of something that is really resonant, story-wise, that is related to the people, and that's why I see myself in 5 years.
That's good, because we're going to have you back on here in 5 years, and
Absolutely.
we're going to touch base regarding all of that progress. I want to go back. Can I go back for a moment, Tristan? I know we've been speaking about the future, but I looked up something online regarding what you listed as some special skills from your BFA days, because you went to the University of Memphis for undergrad, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I understand that you listed things like contemporary dance, modern ballet, hip hop, jazz, solo performer. How interesting! You're working on that solo piece in your MFA program. Poet, vocalist, runner, swimmer. I was wondering, are there any new skills you would add now, special skills that you would think you would add now that you're coming to the close of this MFA program?
I mean, that's so like that's like such a clinical question to me. Like, I mean, I'm always learning new things because I'm an adventurer.
Well, you weren't teaching then, were you?
I wasn't teaching then, so definitely teaching is something
I'm
that
helping
would be,
you, Tristan.
Yeah,
You're gonna put that up there. You're gonna put dance instructor. Were you an abolitionist? You've always been an abolitionist.
Well, and yeah, we've always disrupted the space, but now I named it. So
now you named it.
Now I've named it.
How will you be using that? I think you said at one point that you could combine your art and being an abolitionist. How do you combine them?
I don't think they're two separate entities. I think they're one and the same.
Yeah.
And if you're a storyteller, you are disrupting the space. You are charging the space, rather, by bringing light to those stories that necessarily would go ignored. Those stories that have not been amplified throughout history, and you're the one who sheds light, you're the one who illuminates those stories that have yet to be amplified and yet to be told. You uphold the history of them. And so I think that that's what that is. I think if you're any form of an artist, you are an activist, because you are in some ways, consciously or subconsciously, bringing light to stories that have yet to be told, or that are waiting to be told and have waited to be told. And so I don't think that the two are separate. And my work is immersive, so like, again, I'm always partnering with colleagues and friends and kinfolk who engage this work outside of the institution or outside of the proscenium stage. And so so it's so like, I can't really.
Well, the term itself, abolitionist, means to end slavery,
to
right?
end slavery, yeah.
And so the contemporary, the modern version of that with you as an artist is in freeing
others.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it's super contemporary. I don't think it's a contemporary meaning, because that's the same thing that Harriet Tubman did. It's the same thing that Sojourner Truth would do.
Talk to me. Yeah.
And so, I mean, I am carrying the things that those two abolitionists, those two women in our history, were doing at the time. I'm doing the same thing. I mean, to be real, slavery is still. It's still so much a part of our DNA.
True.
I mean, we look at our institutions. I mean, we look at our capitalism and consumerism, and like, it's still how we engage capitalism and how we engage consumerism. It's still so. We're still in bondage with how we consume our work, how we think, and how we engage socially. And when we look at how we look at hierarchy of things, and there's a form of being enslaved still in 2018. And I mean, we look at our administration, our current administration, we look at the 1%. We look at this recent midterm election that just happened. And I'm like, we look at Georgia and we say, we still look at Georgia. And I'm like looking at these elections and I'm like, we look at Georgia, we look at Florida, we look at Tennessee. And I'm like, oh my word, we still have so much work to do. And so the meaning of abolitionist has not changed. It's just, and within a newer context. Yeah. So,
drop the mic. Drop the mic. Oh, Tristan.
Yeah.
Are you all able to have discussions like this at amongst yourselves, your classmates? At
Absolutely, always. I mean, we create that room among our colleagues, among me and my colleagues. We create that room. We always make the time, and especially with all of us devising our solo pieces.
Right.
It's necessary that we dig deep. It's necessary that we absolutely. I mean, we as I devised this work on Baldwin, two of my colleagues and I have had this conversation about voter restriction rules and like the pipe to prison line system, and so the prison to pipeline system, and so prison, we talked about prison reform and versus prison abolishment, and like we talked about rehabilitation centers for those who are or desperate for it because of past historical traumas, and not throwing them away, because that's what that's what the prison system is. That's what the prison culture is we throw those, what is the term I'm looking for? We reprimand those who have acted out of the social norm. But instead of reprimanding them, how about we empower them?
Or empower.
We empower them. And that's oftentimes, and I know in the indigenous, the original people's culture, that's a thing that is upheld. And I know in the Africanist aesthetic, in the Africanist, like in the diaspora, in the Africanist culture, we uphold those. We give them love that have acted out of the social norm.
Fascinating.
Because there is you can't, trauma does not beget trauma. But if I can positively reaffirm in your life who you are and whose you are, then you're reminded that is not your reality. That me acting out of the social norm is not my reality. That was just a moment in time. But I know the truth that doesn't define who you are. I know that from my own personal experiences with my brother being in and out of the prison system at the age of 14, and dealing with that, and also isolating and alienating my brother because of that. But that was because my culture told me to alienate and isolate him. And so I've learned that, even with my brother, rest in power to him, who is no longer with us, Christopher Adonis. I want to put his name into the space. I want to carry that lineage and uphold my brother, and really disrupt this idea of the prison reform. And I think we should abolish the prison system.
Abolishment.
Yeah, and yeah.
That's not a new concept, huh?
No. That work has always been done. That conversation has always been
prison
had.
abolishment.
Yeah, prison abolishment. And then the term abolitionist.
True.
Of course, the root word of that is abolish. Yeah. Ooh. So abolishing slavery. Yeah. Free people will free people, and hurt people will hurt people. Trauma doesn't beget trauma, and hurt doesn't beget hurt.
You are a poet. You are a poet. I don't know. I don't think you said that in your bio. I'm looking at your bio here, but I know that was listed in your special skills. And let me tell you, I'm just sitting here, tears coming to my eyes, listening to you say these things. You are a poet, and then it's the depth, the wisdom from which you speak, and you're ancient. You're ancient, and you are fashionable. And Tristan Parks, you are simply dope. And you're only 24.
I'm looking in the mirror. I'm looking in the mirror at pure radiance and just a pure heart. Gloria, I'm so glad to know you.
Oh, I'm so glad to know you.
You're listening to Ticket to the Stars Presents, where you don't have to reach for the stars, we bring the stars to you. This season on TTTSP, we talk to the bright spots here in the Triangle and beyond. Out front or behind the scenes, these artists know how to shine. This season, meet the visionary and founder of a women's theater festival, a queen of comedy who went comedy instead of crazy. Meet an award-winning producing artistic director of a professional theater company, or an R&B singer dropping a debut EP 20 years in the making, an actor getting an MFA from one of the country's top-rated acting programs, or a documentary filmmaker turned horror film producer. On Ticket to the Stars Presents, you don't have to reach for the stars, we bring the stars to you. That's TTTSP, Tuesdays at 3 on littleraleigh.org. A Stargaze Broadcast. Now back to TTTSP with this week's exciting star guest.
Here we go. I'm going to go out with these shooting star questions.
Okay.
I hope you're as excited about them as I am.
Okay. I am.
I'm going to shoot these stars at you, and shooting star questions, and you give me an answer as fast as you can in rapid speed, but be yourself.
Yeah.
if you got to delve off and start, getting in some crock pot discussions, that's okay.
Okay.
What is your favorite meal to eat and favorite meal to cook?
Mm-hmm.
This is, now look, just so you know the context of these questions, Ticket to the Stars Presents is about bringing the stars to the fans. They don't have to reach for you. So there's some things that, because you're a star, they're like, I wonder what Tristan does when how does he make his coffee? Those things are fascinating to the fans. So talk to me. What's your favorite meal to eat and favorite meal to cook, Tristan?
I really love seafood. Seafood is my favorite. But it's very rare that I eat seafood because, of course, it's so economically, it's so
can be costly.
Yeah, it can be definitely costly. But I definitely love. I love cooking in my crock pot. I love cabbage and turkey sausage. I love to cook
turkey sausage with the cabbage.
With the cabbage, yeah.
That's
purple
nice.
Cabbage, yeah.
Purple cabbage.
Yeah.
In
Red
particular.
cabbage, sorry. Yeah,
red cabbage.
Yeah,
red cabbage.
Yeah.
Red cabbage, that's right.
That happens to be the color purple.
Yeah, that happens to be the color purple. That's funny. A favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory? Going to Disney World with my Disney World with my dad and my sister and my mom. My mom number 2. I love
World.
Yeah, Disney World. My dad took us twice. I think I went at 6 and 8. Yeah, 6 and 8. I was in Disney World, and that was an absolute blast to go. And I anticipate going back soon. It's been a long
as
time.
An adult.
I want to go to. I haven't been to Disneyland yet, so I'll definitely go there, and I can't wait to take my family.
Amen. And there was a special not too long ago on Walt Disney and the character Mickey
that's
Mouse
right. Yeah, on ABC.
Yeah, were you able to check out any
I
of it?
didn't, but I saw one of my favorite artists were on there. We're there. Leslie Odom Jr.
Is that the little
No, Leslie Odom Jr. is the black he's the brother with the I don't know, he had on the suit and tie. I have to show you an image of him. But he won the Tony.
Forgive me, Leslie, for not knowing who you are.
Yes, Leslie. Listen, Danielle knows who you are, Leslie. She knows who you are. Leslie, he just won the Tony. He won the Tony recently for Hamilton.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right, and he does some commercials now.
Yeah. Nationwide is on your side.
Right. So, and what I thought was interesting was the story of how Walt Disney, when he came up with the character of Mickey Mouse, it was coming from a point of maybe, being down on a point of desperation, maybe in his career,
as with most art.
In that moment, have to find it. Okay, so a book you're reading right now, if any?
No Ashes in the Fire by Darnell L. Moore. If Bill Street could talk. James Baldwin. Conversations with James Baldwin. When Angels Speak of Love. Bell Hooks. And I'm missing the 5th one. And I'm reading essays of James Baldwin. Notes of a Native Son.
Yeah, it's all about James Baldwin right now. Who makes you laugh the most?
My mama.
Your mama?
My mama.
Do you have a favorite?
And my best friend Jordan. May.
Is he at school with you?
No, she's in Tennessee.
She's in Tennessee.
Yeah, she just finished her degree at University of Memphis, her master's degree.
Where you got your BFA?
Yeah, where I got my BFA. Yeah.
Sweet. How about a favorite Netflix or Amazon binge show?
Right now it's The Crown, and definitely I'm watching Big Little Lies and Queen Sugar.
Ooh, could you travel? If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be? If you could travel anywhere in the world next week.
Where would it be? Yeah. Definitely New Orleans.
New Orleans. Mm-hmm. A favorite word?
My favorite word, peace.
And I know you often say praise.
Praise, yeah.
Like that, peace and praise. How about 2 pet peeves no one knows about you?
2 pet peeves.
If you're willing to share it now.
Honestly, that's so rare for me.
You don't have pet peeves.
Yeah, my tolerance level is so
it's so high.
High, yeah. And it's not until I think when people that's a pet peeve.
Okay.
When people shush you ask people to quiet, and that's something that I learned from my mom because that's her pet peeve.
She can't stand that either.
No. She said you ask people to could you quiet soften down a little bit. Yeah.
But don't shush me.
But don't shush. I'm not an animal. I'm a human.
How about something you've been wanting to say to someone and haven't?
I can't wait to tell Angela Bassett I love her and how much she's changed my life. I can't wait to tell how much Camille A. Brown has changed my life, and I cannot wait to tell. Work with Meryl Streep and tell her how much her work has affected my life, and I cannot wait to meet Toni Morrison and tell her how much her work has affected my life, and I can't wait for her to sign all of
your
my books.
All your books. 5 years from now, we're gonna hear you. You're gonna have told them.
Yes.
Well, before we leave, I want to know what you're going to be doing right after this interview. The fans want to know. And then close out with your favorite quote. So what are you going to do when you leave this interview, leave these doors of the Little Raleigh Theater, and then take us out, Tristan, on your favorite quote?
Okay. When I leave here, I am going to go and nourish my body. I'm going to go find a place to eat, probably grab a soup or a salad, and do some reading and work out. I'm probably going to go to the gym. I am going to go to the gym. And then my favorite quote
What do you do at the gym?
I do the Stairmaster, 20 minutes on the Stairmaster, and then I do 20 minutes of weight training, lifting. Nice. Yeah. Okay. And and then my favorite quote right now is hold on, let me pull it.
Pull it up.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to misquote it.
I don't want to misquote it, but right now, okay. I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. Dr. Maya Angelou. Yeah. Yeah. So
I come as one, but I stand
as 10,000. Yeah.
Well, Tristan André Parks, thank you so much.
Thank you for blessing me this morning. Yeah.
I am absolutely blown away by what you've shared with us, and I really want to invite the fans to follow you. They can follow you on
Facebook at Tristan André Parks, Instagram at Fish Grits and Collard Greens. I'm a Southern boy. That's my Instagram handle. And on Twitter at Green Aphrodisiac. And that's Afro with the AFRO.
AFRO, right.
Yes.
Aphrodisiac. That's unique. That's you poet. Well, Ticket to the Stars presents with Tristan André Parks. Once you look back at this, feel free to follow him. Make sure you come out to see She Loves Me at Playmakers on November 14th. What are the dates it runs through in case this airs?
November 14th through December 2nd.
Okay, so November when you're listening to
this.
Yeah.
And the James Baldwin piece at Slippage Lab
on December 12th.
Yeah.
At 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
And if you want to come to the classroom version of it, right? December 4th at 10:30.
At 10:30.
At the Center for Dramatic Art.
Yeah. That's 120 Country Club Road.
There
y'all.
There it is.
Ticket to the Stars presents. That's TTTSP, Tuesdays at 3 on littleraleigh.org.
A Stargaze Broadcast. A Stargaze Broadcast. A Stargaze Broadcast.
This is Jacob Downey, one of the co-founders of Little Raleigh Radio. We are elated to count Ticket to the Stars Presents and our lineup of programming, helping you hear where you are, through celebrating inspiring artists in your community and beyond with great conversation. If you're in the Raleigh area and you would like to join us and Ticket to the Stars Presents in amplifying great voices, email listen@littleraleigh.org.